I'd like to welcome you guys to this season's special. This is I call this episode Item Theory because I don't go over stupid stuff like MKB counters, butterfly because of True Strike, and it goes True Strike doesn't allow you to miss because of evasion and all this other nonsense or stuff like that. It's more I want you guys to think practically about what you should build and when you should build it and why you should build it and how you should go about building it. In terms of time slots and game and heroes and all this other stuff. So to hit timing windows and knowing when you need something as opposed to when you don't, I'm going to show you examples of me doing very good jobs of these things and then me doing a very poor job of these things and how they effectively can win or lose you the game. But before that, I want to announce that unfortunately, I had to part ways with Absolute Legends. I'm now doing this on my own. Obviously, you're seeing this on this YouTube channel, Flipside Tactics. Flipside Tactics is the organization that myself and a few others have decided to open up because we basically just wanted to create our own brand and felt that we should no longer be doing it under the tutelage of another organization. We can do it on our own. Unfortunately, I have broke away from the consistent 2-week timeline of Dota 101 and Cyborg Matt's fan video. So Adam, I'm sorry, as well as his Dota Insights because of the RIT land, which you guys, if you have not checked out the mini documentary we did for the entire event, I hope you guys will check it out at our YouTube channel here. But yeah, so I've been late because I've been doing this, and this was very important. As well as we created the Dota 101 In-House Academy, which is a Dota 101 in-house league, and at the same time, we have partnered with, obviously, Our Zone Dota. You can find more information about the in-house league at ourzonedota.com. And the In-House Academy. The academy is basically where I set up for instance, right, like 3v3 tri-lane versus tri-lane lobbies, and I coach people and help people go through because I feel like a lot of my videos people aren't really understanding or grasping as well as I would like them to. So I'm going to have to spend more time helping those that watch the videos that just aren't getting it. As well as we set up the professional coaching network on our website. Our website is flipsidetactics.com. I hope you guys check it out. Flipside, tactics.com is our website. Check that out when you guys get a chance and all that good stuff. We have created the professional coaching network, which is huge. So we have professional players. I'm trying to obviously get more. So if you want to be coached by a player, so for right now, Mania, Eternal Envy, Rise, Miguel, Unicorn, there's myself, there's MJ Finch of Dota Insight, are all coaches on this thing. So the API set up, you can go through PayPal, and things are going to be improving. We're going to improve the system. We're going to add like a calendar slot and all this other good stuff, but for now, humble beginnings. So you guys are going to be able to be coached by us if you guys want to. We will obviously discuss the times personally with our clients and fans and all this good stuff, but I want a place where you guys can actually not only be able to go to learn from these people, but also get the chance to meet these people, which was also the part, which was the reason why we did the RIT LAN, and which is why I'm continuing to promote Dota in the States the way that I am, because I'm just a face. You guys just watch our videos. But if we're gonna try to popularize Dota, we need to popularize it by being available to those fans, right? That should be our niche, and this is Flipside Tactics' mission statement. This is our niche. We are for the community. We are basically run by people that actually do shit, for the community, and we're gonna continue to do right by the community by trying to set up things like the coaching network and the Dota 101 in-house and the Dota 101 in-house academy and all this other good stuff. And it was a good way for me to help these professional players also make some money so that they can continue to do this, so that we can continue to watch them and cheer for them and do all this good shit. So now that I got all the promos out the way, I'd like to just discuss what's going to happen in the video. So in part one, I'm going to show you very outside of the box ways to use particular items, and ways that I would like other people to start using items, and items that people, or I feel that people don't give a lot of credit to. In part 2 comes the item theory portion, where I'm going to be going at 4 times speed. You're basically watching quick replays with me, and you're going to be pretending to be me. And we're going to have a discussion about what you think I should be building, what I should be building based on what's going on in the game, and what time is it in the game, what's going on with my hero, with my farm, like where I'm moving, where the map, where map control is being taken or lost or whatever. It's basically just an interactive way for you to visualize and feel as if you're doing it and playing it. But you're also going to be testing your IQ as to why did I or why should I build these things, and did I do that, and how effective was it, how ineffective was it, all this other good shit. So that is where that comes into play. So without further ado, let's get into the game. Okay, so I want to discuss for you guys the difference between Dagon 5 versus a Dagon 1 in Ethereal Blade, which is the item build that I would always prefer and always will recommend and believe that all of you should fucking go instead of building this goddamn Dagon 5, which is, in my opinion, useless. Because it gives you, yes, additional burst damage, and you'll see here why I say it's useless. Because it costs a hell of a lot of money. It's basically almost 8,000 gold, and it gives you 800 burst damage. So you're basically paying 1,000 gold for 1,000 burst damage, or for 100 burst damage, excuse me, instead of this, right? So you're spending less money for more utility, and it does damage in multiple ways. It gives you obviously 75 plus your plus 2 times your main attribute. Or 2 times your main attribute, and look at the effective difference in HP. It actually takes more away than the Dagon 5, and it gives you a hell of a lot of utility, and I'll show you how you use that utility here in a second. Split pushing, and we were, screwed and pissed and upset, so I finally said, all right, fuck him, let's just go, we have to figure out a way to kill this guy. He right clicks anybody down, and there's nothing we can do about it. And you'll see this, you'll see how how you handle right-click heroes like this that don't have protection. And by protection, I mean BKB. That's it. That's all it took. I was Necro and just can smash his face at any time you want. Now, I'm gonna show you this from my perspective. Now, I actually threw the game here because I went Bloodstone, and I'm not going to get into the specifics of that. I actually know I will. So, instead of getting an early Hex, I got a Bloodstone. Or instead of getting a Mechanism, I got a Bloodstone. Or instead of getting other items, I could have gotten a Bloodstone. What I ended up doing was I threw the game because I got a pretty crap item, and though I got some a bunch of kills and all that stuff, a Hex would have been nicer. A Hex would have killed the Furion multiple times during the earlier portions of the game, but he ended up getting away because of the Lothars and all that stuff. So I just kind of want to point that out. Bloodstone. Oh boy, did I throw this game. But anyways, going back to the game, Furion tries to pull the okey doke and to take advantage of weak supports, and we just didn't let him know that we saw him. We pretended as if everything was casual, and then look, he just can't get away. So he ended up countering that by eventually getting the Black King bar, which was very smart of him, and it took him 60 minutes to figure it out. But hey, who's counting, right? But the bad side to this is, of course, look. So once you get a BKB, all he has to do is pop the Black King bar and just right click. That was what we were afraid of in the beginning. But if I had gotten the proper items in the beginning, he probably wouldn't have gotten this big, and eventually did what he ended up doing. This was just a case of me being overzealous and, got screwed. So now I'm playing Nyx Assassin, and you see the build-up, right? So you see it's the Mana Boots into the Dagon, into the Ghost Scepter. And then from the Ghost Scepter, you build an Ethereal Blade. You constantly move around, get kills, all that other stuff. But instead of increasing your Dagon, you just farm for the Ethereal Blade. And farming for the Ethereal Blade, in my opinion, is smarter, especially against the PL. So PL will Spirit Lance you, and instead of him creating million illusions and killing you, you just simply go, oh, hey, fuck you. I'll get Ethereal Blade, and then I'll Ethereal Blade you or anyone on your team so you can't hit me, which you'll see here. This is how he dies. Ethereal Blade slow, and he just gets owned. That's how you can handle this sort of action. Ethereal Blade is a very underrated item. It can also be used in ways like this, right? Just standard, I'm Nyx Assassin, screw you, you're dead, I have an advantage, you don't, bye. no theory craft needed for that, right? So another item I wanted to discuss is Force Staff. I wanted to show you how to use it defensively, which is super obvious, I know, but just in case, I'm going to show people how to use it defensively to get away and get yourself out of the bad position. But the purpose for showing you this item in this video is to show you how you can move other people out of position, which is not something I normally see. Well, wrong screen. Sorry, guys. Whoops. Anyways, as you can see in this little thing here, this little replay, CK got a little bit out of position, overzealous, thought he can man up on the tower, his teammate, just because his teammates are behind him. So he gets Force Staffed up, and he gets shackled, and he gets smashed, and all that good stuff. Wasn't the best rock in the world, but, you know, whatever. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to show you another example of that, and that's very unfortunate for me that I did not get the kill there, but hey, whatever. I'm gonna also show you another example, which is, so for those of you that don't know, you should know, but if you play Windrunner, you can shackle off of creep. But anyways, as I shackle him, I then move him closer to us because I see reinforcements coming. And yeah, so you can position players out of position. Okay, so what I want people to understand in this replay is conventional wisdom says that anytime you play Zeus, you really have to like go Aghanims and Refresher, you know, in order to justify the pick and all this other good shit. Instead, I want you guys to understand that Yule Scepter is also a very good alternative in almost every situation because of the ability to not only create a 4v5 instantly, but the ability to deflect aggro from you and look, right? So the Sven in this game is close to BKB. And why, you know, allow him to do so? Wait for him to use God's Strength and Yule's to protect yourself. And look, Yule's can save you and help you to get away. And, you know, and here it does as well. They end up turning around. Now, look, here's what I mean. So one of my teammates gets in trouble, right? Gondar doesn't have a BKB either. So anytime he jumps on you, you can use yourself or use him and you can get away, right? Like this is a way to actually increase your survivability and also increase your effectiveness in team fights. So look, one of my teammates gets called out of position, you know, gets stunned, and then look, me and the Skywrath decide, hey, okay, you know, let's screw him over. And look, so Yules can set up not only abilities and, you know, blah, 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 but it can also protect heroes, and it can do a whole other range of, it creates a whole other range of possibilities for you that would not be possible with Aghanims, right? So we get into this fight, and then look what happens. Now, I could have actually dodged that, and I should have, but I suck. So what I ended up doing instead was, and here goes the double Yules action again, right? Sven has God Strength, and you're wasting his God Strength by making him kite. Okay, so what I want to discuss here is most people don't realize that a Necro 3, which costs you 5,400 gold, is basically effectively countered by Helm of the Dominator now, since the switch of the Helm of the Dominator. And so basically 5,400 is countered, excuse me, by 1950, and you'll see why. Look, he purchased a Necro 3, and I say, hey, F you, and proceed to beat the living snot out of him with this item. Now, most people still don't know about this, and they think that Necronomicon 3 is really, really good, and it used to be, and I love the item, but unfortunately that really makes the item ineffective. And you're going to see throughout this entire video what I mean by that, because so not only do they have to spend the 5,400 gold, but guess what? In order to counter the counter, they have to spend another 1950. So, yep, pretty gay. And look, I'm beating his butt behind just all day. Come get smashed, son. Small son. Get dunked on by this this mauler. And it cost me 1950. So I said, hey, oh, that's cool. That's cute. In another fight, again, look, this Necro 3 is coming up. You're going to see me. Look, we get dusted, right? We get raped in this team fight. Instant transition. Oh, yeah, he's going to pop his Necronomicon 3. He's going to start mana burning us. And his mauler's going to beat us. And if we kill it with all our AoE, we're going to die. All of a sudden, hey, thank you. Thanks for the mauler, bro. Appreciate it, bud. So, anytime heroes do that, you're going to see in this one, I'm Pudge, and I do the same thing. And notice the Yules. Yules best item in the game, bro. It should be called a Frost Scepter, honestly. I use it so much. It's so good. But look, yeah. So, just stealing it from this axe. Now, the reason I show this axe is because you're going to see what this axe was doing with it. It was so annoying. He thought he was Furion, but it worked. Like, he kept backdooring towers and shit, and he almost won the game here because he kept doing that. It's fucking annoying. So, you know, we TP'd back, and I'm like, man, you're pissing me off, bro. So, then I just take his item and then just screw his push and said, hey, what's up? So, now you guys know. Helm of the Dom. Instant counter the Necro 3. Okay, so in this part of this episode, I want to discuss jungling. I have not discussed jungling at all in the Dota 101 series. So this will help you with items and item progression, and at the same time, it will definitely help you guys with just some topics I haven't discussed, which is jungling and how to jungle. Now, this is a different type of jungling. This is very unconventional. Only this hero can do it like this, but look at the items that he went. So he goes boots and salve. Now, I would make fun of this build if I didn't know him and, you know, all this other stuff. Gonna be honest. I would think this build is dumb because I would go stout shield, 1 clarity, and then regen. And, you know, do the same thing he's doing, minus the mobility, but with what would be, to my knowledge, more consumables, which will allow me to do more, right? Yet, look at how this build functioned for what he was doing in his playstyle and what was going on in his mind and how he felt he should play. And that is very important in this item episode. Being unconventional is okay. Going against the grain and trying things out and seeing if they experiment, this is how progression happens. This is how the armlet on the bear became to be known. This is how Aoi started, you know, showing people to go Yasha on Brood and Mechanism on Viper and all this other good stuff, right? And Mechanism on Enigma instead of Blink Dagger, you know, all this stuff. It's you try it, you see how it works, and you apply the mechanic. Now, he goes Tranquil Boots. Tranquil Boots are relatively good for jungle heroes like Darkseer early on in the jungle, Nakes early on in the jungle. I've seen it also on Doom early on in the jungle. I've have obviously seen it on Batrider, which you guys are seeing it now, right? Like heroes like Chen and Enigma and Furion won't get it, but it doesn't mean that Tranquils are bad. Tranquils are pretty good in the jungle, depending on certain heroes and depending on the playstyle of certain people. Now, the thing to understand is, look at what he's doing. He's stacking camps at the same time. And now, see, what is his next item? With the 600 gold, people would normally go Bottle and Crow. This is something I would do. I would Crow right now. He does not opt to do this. He instead opts to get a Soul Ring. Now, this may be laughable, right? This may be, well, it's ineffective. Or why are you spending that much gold? Or why don't you rush something else? Well, it's his playstyle. This is what he chose to do. Yet look at the success he's going to have with what he decided to do. And this is what's important to know. Is being unconventional is okay as long as it's yielding you good results. And if you see it, it clearly, he does a very good job this game. So how can we argue with the results? The boots first, right? It allowed him the mobility to transition from camp to camp to camp with the safety. So the damage that I would be taking with the stout shield, blocking some of it, he doesn't have to take as much of it. And he just adjusted. When you're in the jungle, you are pretty much only going for a few items. One of them in particular is, right, a Blink Dagger. A lot of Enigma players do this and it drives me nuts. But Blink Dagger, Mechanism, Pipe, and Midas are normally the items you choose to get in the first 10 minutes of the game in the jungle. Midas on heroes like Furion, Midas on heroes like Doombringer if you're going to go late game carry build. Blink Dagger if you need positioning like the Batrider has here, or sometimes Enigmas like to do this. Mechanism if you are early game push, if you're early game push team. Enchantress, Chen, to me, the way I play Enigma, and you just take towers. However, Batrider is going Blink Dagger for obvious reasons. Because of Lasso. He is trying to use Lasso to net him and his team kills. And he does so very well. Look again how he protects his team here. Now he doesn't end up getting a kill, but now look, he's going to transition right back into the jungle. And he also purchased Dust. Do you guys see this? He purchased Dust for the Sakuchi and the Shadow Blade that was on the Shadow Fiend. And now look, he's going in the jungle and he's doing his thing. And he has 1,700 gold, and it's 14 minutes into the game, and he has Blink. His next item, he could build a multitude of items, from mules to force. I don't know, for some reason, let's say he needed urn, or he could get a pipe. Obviously, the next item, though, for a Bat Rider should be Force Staff, so that you can Force Staff out, or Force Staff the hero out of range and closer to your range, out of range of his team and his defenses, so that when you blink on a lasso target, you Force Staff closer to your team, it pushes them further out of position from their team and pushes them further into position for your team to kill them. Right? Look at this. It's 1636. And he has Blink, Force, Soul Ring, and Tranquils. And if you've noticed, he has no longer been using the Soul Ring. Instead, he's just, he has 4 mana region per second. And that puts into the question the Soul Ring. But it doesn't matter. Regardless, he did an unconventional build, and it worked. At 17 minutes into the game, he is more farmed than pretty much most other heroes on the map. And this is what I mean by you cannot argue with the results. Is it an item build I would use? No. Is this how I would start this jungle? No. But is he successful? Yes. Why was he successful? Because he thought about what he was going to do and then applied the items that would allow him to do what he wanted to do, and he effectively did it. Now, was it very linear? Yes. Because Bat Rider, it pretty much is going to go these items. The theory part of this portion was his starting items. But you see how his different starting items still netted him a very fast group of core items. And this is essentially what's very important. Because he is, at the moment, literally carrying the team as, our jungle. And that, I think, is very important to note. We're going to continue this so that you can see not only more of how he transitions and goes into the jungle, and you guys can get better ideas on how to jungle here, but also I want you guys to see his next item. Now, this I thought was very intelligent. You could go Yules, but he decided to go Boots of Travel. Why is he going Boots of Travel? Because at 20 minutes, Boots of Travel, Blink Dagger, and Force Staff allows him to be a global hero. He can literally catch anyone who is slightly out of position and kill them based on the fact that he is not only a global hero at this point with Boots of Travel, but guess what? He has a mobility from Blink and Force to catch you wherever you are, whenever he needs to get you. You'll see what I mean by here, right? So he farms up here, and then he's gonna effectively get a kill once the DK decides that the DK got out of position and he got caught and he got crept up on. But the Force and the Blink combo, he forced the hero forward and, just beat the snot out of him, really. There really was no other way to put it. And look, so he's everywhere. He's everywhere, and he's doing everything that he needs to do. Okay, so quickly, I'm going to go over what I feel should be something that a lot of players should know, but apparently they don't. So a lot of people think that what you should be building on Enigma, this is what I alluded to during the Bat Rider video, that a lot of players go Blink Dagger and think that, hey, getting a Blink Dagger instead of Black Holes is really good and all that good stuff, but it really isn't, because you will probably use that in the first 20 minutes, maybe twice, maybe 3 times at most, and it's really not worth it. Instead, what you should be building is a mechanism to push towers early, and to give your team mid-game fight, well, early mid-game fight, to be able to win fights and push towers. And that missed micro right there was really bad, but it's okay. However, there is an alternative, in my opinion, and the only justifiable alternative is the one I'm going to show you right now, because you can Roshan literally in 7 minutes. And I'm going to briefly show you just how to jungle early. Once again, because even though this is an item video, not only am I explaining items, but because I never really have touched on the jungle so much in Dota 101 yet, I think it's really good for me to do this. This is something I feel very strongly about, that, jungling is something that a lot of players don't essentially know how to do yet. And so this will be really good for you guys to watch. But yeah, so the Ring of the Bilious startup, the Ring of Basilius, excuse me, startup is going to be transitioned into a medallion. I'm going to disassemble the Ring of Basilius and the medallion. And yep, we're going to do all that good stuff. I'm going to then repurchase the Ring of Basilius so that I can go into Roshan with the additional armor for my units, as well as just a mana regen while I'm in the jungle or whatever, and all that good stuff. And then I'm going to disassemble that and turn it into a mechanism. So in the mid game, I should be around level 8 or 9. This should be around 9 minutes or so, and I should have a mechanism and a or I should be building a mechanism with a medallion. So I'm going to show you guys how to use the medallion right here, and this is what you should be doing. You should be using the minus armor. It inflicts -6 armor to both you and the units for about 7 seconds, and this is essentially going to help you kill Roshan. So I'm just going to show you briefly just how to use that good stuff, and then I'm just going to show you how I ended up fighting Rosh and at what time and all that other good shit. So yep, here we go. So I'm gonna deny creep. I'm gonna cheat a little bit and use it to get 1 hit. So now my demonic conversions now only need a little bit. Well, they need 1 less hit in order to sprout and shift into 3. So now look what I'm gonna do. I purchased 2 salves so that I can tank up even with the -6 armor, and Roshan is gonna proceed to be my facing. This unfortunately has to happen in order to end up killing Roshan. This should not happen. You should never be getting that low, but I like to live dangerously. What can I say? Should be microing a little bit better as well. But considering they're almost dead, you know, I kind of just said screw it. And you want to space out all your Eidolons as best you can. I could have done a better job with the 2 because you want to get free hits on Roshan while he's moving and transitioning. And then look, I'm going to use a salve while he has shifted his aggression, and I want to kite him a little bit and just piss him off, basically just entice him. And having him moving and not attacking is very good, and it's 8 minutes and 38 seconds. I'm currently level 7, and at 8 minutes and 45 seconds we have a Roshan kill. What I should be doing is now breaking the Ring of Basilius and moving into a mechanism. And you see that I didn't get Black Hole, but I didn't get Black Hole because I don't have the mana to actually use a mechanism, and at the same time I don't have the mana to then use Black Hole with the mechanism. I'll show you guys a game where I'm playing Beastmaster, and I went middle. I wanted to show you a roaming mid and why going blink on some of these heroes with really good disables is actually pretty good against lineups that are reliant upon 1 or 2 particular heroes, in my opinion, too heavily. And so what you'll see is, so I got a blink pretty early. You can look at the time. It's a 12-minute blink. And I was obviously moving around and all this good stuff, but this is really less important. So now what we're going to see is just how do you use this in order to net you kills, right? Like, where do you go? What do you do? We smoke, get kills here, boom. We're targeting down the most important heroes that they have. You can also see how blink here is going to actually save my life and allow me to get out of the way. Beastmaster effectively has a lot of HP and all that good shit, so I'm able to tank a little bit more than your average bear. Finch appropriately when mechanism, and we're going to discuss why that's good. Well, for one, we needed the team fight, and you can see we don't really have a lot of support. We had just one of those games when it came to decision making. Beastmaster is a hard counter to Enigma because of Roar. It goes to BKB, and if Enigma channels Black Hole, he gets screwed. So as you can see, it got us a kill here, and then we ended up winning a fight as well. Obviously, the mechanism, having the ability to have Fury on your team also helps. Now, he changed his build, Finch here. He ended up going right-click build right after the mechanism, which I also like to do on teams where you don't really have a lot of supports. And because Furion could just make up the farm, and having a mechanism is always so good early on in the game, and a lot of people undervalue that in particular. Tiny here when the NASCAR build, which is a lot of movement speed on Tiny, so that you can flash farm. And you're gonna see an additional fight here where we ended up obviously using my ultimate. I didn't really use Blink here as much, but we used the ultimate to set up a kill and a fight. I used Blink to actually steal the Shroon, and we're going to continue to win fights this way. But again, having the mobility and having the option of being everywhere and anywhere really helped. The following item is going to be an AC. We're going to continue with the NASCAR build. He actually broke away from that because he was getting hit with stuns, so he ended up popping a BKB. I was going to get the AC for him. My passive would give him the benefit of, you know, the AC attack speed anyway, and he still will get the additional armor, but he can get something to help him actually engage in a fight. So, and look right here. Look at the position that someone was out of position one time. This important hero, and we ended up using that and turning that into a straight push down the base. So though this wasn't as informative or instructional as some of the other parts, just wanted to show you how with the appropriate item, one fight is all it takes to win a game. So I want to briefly go over, a lot of people have asked me, how do you play the 4 effectively? Sometimes I get behind in farm and all this other stuff. And I always tell them, well, you have to be mobile. You have to move around. So I'm going to show you just a little bit of an Earthshaker game so you guys can just play along and see, you know, what items I would get and what I'm doing and, you know, how I'm doing it. And it's obviously fairly obvious to the item progression, but still some players really struggle with it, so we're just going over it. I'm going to get mana boots or arcane boots actually first and continue to be mobile. I'm going to try to rush a blink dagger as fast as I can, and you'll see the steps I took in order to do that, because Earthshaker isn't necessarily a right click hero, and I try to split him from his team. The Fisher was just a little shorter than I thought, but it still allowed us to get the kill because he had to walk all the way around the Fisher unit. You're going to see us constantly stay together and team fight and roam and, you know, all that stuff. And 5-man Dota really works, guys. You should try it sometime. So we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep moving forward. You see us constantly together, constantly roam ganking, still trying to push out lanes and doing the best that we can around the map together as a 3-man mobile hit squad with the Riki. We bought Dust. I shouldn't really have to explain why we're going to get Dust, but just in case, look at the lead up. So the Beastmaster pops the Dust, and then we're able to kill him. Please, guys, when you're playing Invisible Heroes, buy fucking Dust. Too many people don't do that, and I don't understand. Like, it'll pay off in the end. So for 180 gold to be able to kill somebody, it's definitely worth it. You'll get it, you know, it'll pay itself off in assist, and it'll slow down heroes like Phantom Lancer or Cancer Lancer. God darn it, we need to find a cure for Lancer. It's so annoying. Ice Frog, get on that shit. Stop playing games. But as you can see, we're going to continue to go forward. One of our players gets called out of position and all that stuff. And you see how I don't take fights that I know we're going to lose. I don't kill myself because I'm trying to rush a fucking blink. A lot of people kill themselves to try to protect their teammates too much. If your teammates are dumb and that far out of position, just let them die. They'll learn. So as you see, I'm constantly with my team, constantly looking to pick fights. And we're doing a very good job of getting pickoffs and just doing the best that we can. You know, another Fisher, another kill. You know, my gold is racking up. We're doing okay. Taking towers down. Progressing in items rather quickly. Considering, you know, played the hard 4. And I've been warding and counter warding and doing the best that I can. And I'm going to die here because I was out of position and out of mana. Loud Meadow's going to take a tower here. God darn it. So unprofessional. Sue me. Shout out to Loud Meadow, by the way. Dota Inside crew up in these videos, up in these item videos. You know, again, we're together. We already got a kill. We're going to continue to get kills. I'm going to take a Roshan here. I'm going to protect. Notice my positioning, and then I notice that they're all farming bottom or, you know, mid lane. So, hey, I can help my team do some damage. This fight's here rather important. You're going to see how the Blink Dagger starts to pay off. I believe I made a little bit of an error not using Fisher to my left. Instead, I used it to my right, and I kind of allowed PL to beat my brains, and you'll see right now what I mean. I could have stunned the PL with the rest of his team. Instead, I didn't. Watch. Look at this. So when I Fisher to the right, I kind of block my team off, and then I don't get the extra stun. Finch was smart enough and astute enough to break the trees down, but I really think my direction in the Fisher was a mistake. So it's just something for you guys to look at and for me to point out. But yeah, look, we're killing people, getting towers. Blink is, you know, doing well. This PL gets caught out of position. Nice Fiend's grip. But look at the gold that I have. Why am I hoarding gold? What kind of items am I getting? Oh, skip that. I make a crazy man out play here. Let me rewind that. Oh, Finch. Thanks, bro. Good teammate. Watch this, guys. So good. So I'm like, guys, let's get him. Got him. Out of position. Oh, yeah. All day. Uh-oh. SK. And then Finch is like, SK. Yo, SK. He's all yours. Fuck him. That's basically what happened there, guys. So I'm waiting for my Blink Dagger. So I try to, obviously, terrain dodge. Big barrel strike by the Sand Queen. Tries to hide in a sandstorm. I don't let him do that. And again, constantly with my team. That's the common motif of this game when you're playing the 4. You have to set up kills for your team. You have to be aggressive across the map. I have 2,200 gold. Why am I hoarding gold? What am I getting? I already have Blink. What is it that I'm getting? And what items? Why? Like, why would I be getting it? Should I go Pipe? Should I go Veil of Discord? Veil of Discord might have been nice. Pipe. Should I go Aghanims? Should I brush a Hex? Nope. Get a Yules. Yules. Best game in Dota. Best game in Dota. Excuse me. Best item in Dota. Now, why do I say that? You'll see why. But in this game, so Huskar, when he jumps on somebody, he doesn't have a BKB yet. Sand King, if I see him, instead of having to waste a Fisher to stop him, I can still save my Fisher for the team. I can, you know, I can do a bunch of damage there. I could also defensively use the Yule Scepter to protect myself. Necro, I can take him out of a fight so that he's not spamming heal every 5 seconds and helping PL. At the same time, I can protect myself from PL illusions if I get caught out of position. There's a lot of reasons why I did that. The movement speed's nice, the region's nice, and look, we're continuing to press the issue. You'll see a defensive Yules here. I'll show you right now. Look at the barrel strike. I wasn't paying attention, and I didn't see it fast enough. But a defensive usage is, you know, a good idea. Veil of Discord also would have been very good. It's a very underrated item. Also, Yule Scepter synergizes very well with Blink. I'm up there because I was de-warding since my team was too scared. They're scared of their own shadow, and you know, I was like, "Don't worry, guys, I'll de-ward. I got this." So as you can see, the Yule duration allows you to blink if the blink was broken. And okay, so this fight's very important. You're gonna see every aspect of my build. So I perfectly am in position. I stun them, and I'm like, okay, I want to get a 5-man. Oh yeah, Echo Slam, and then oh shit, I'm got time to get out. Barrel Strike, all this other good stuff, and then look, I already have 3 stacks of Flaming Spears. So I'm like, oh, time to get this asshole out of my face. I have to get away. I got away. You know, my life isn't as important. I need to help my team get kills here. So, you know, I go back and I try to get kills on their carries. And I got one, but, you know, Necro killed me. And as you can see, we're losing this game now. Come in again, try to do the best I can. Again, another defensive Yules so that I can stay alive and, you know, maybe get more stuns off. It's just not happening. It's not happening this game. We're not doing well. We're going to lose the game. But you can see how I played Earthshaker, and I built Earthshaker based on what was going on in the game. Fortunately, though, this is a team game. One man normally can't win it unless they've been free farming for 40 minutes in their PL. So, now let's play a little game where I'm anti-mage, the no fun mage. And you're going to play with me. You're going to see it's 6 minutes into the game. I have 33 CS and 8 denies. And I'm going to obviously be going for Battle Fury. But we are going to play the game, which is play this anti-mage. And we are going to, you guys are going to predict what I'm going to go, what I should go, why I should go it, and all this other good stuff. So, as you can see, the state of the game, we're running a tri-lane. And we've had some action here. We've had a gank or two already. Oh, excuse me, guys. This is so bad. Very unprofessional. Sorry. And as we go, I'm being pressured a lot, but I'm still able to maintain my farm, thankfully. I'm no burning, but I try to do my best burning impression. So what I decided to do is, okay, I can't fight this shit anymore. You know, this is ridiculous. So let me split push. We ended up killing the Lycan. I had a hunch he was there. I actually caught him. Kept going. Look at me split pushing. This is me back cutting. Look at the mini map though. Why am I doing this? Now Lycan is not a hero I can fight. He will smash my face in this early, because if I mean, if he crits me, I'm just screwed, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I continue to farm, continue to farm, continue to farm. Look, I'm in the jungle. I'm in the jungle. I'm in the jungle. Now, the next item that normally gets progressed here is what? What does what should anti-mage get? Should I work on a BKB? Should I go Yasha? Should I go what? Normally people go Yasha. And people go Yasha because it's a flash farming item. It gives you 10% movement speed. 10% right now would be 36 extra movement speed. 36, you know, 0.25 or some bullshit. You know, it'll give me that much movement speed. But look at the opposing heroes. The Lone Druid has nothing. Lycan has a lot of items he can kill me, and Enigma is close as BKB, so I'm not gonna fight them. So I could go Yasha and split push here, right? That's the play. That's what I should do. Yasha split push. I decided to actually go Vlad's. Now why? The additional armor, and I knew. Look at the wards of my jungle. It's not safe for me to farm long lane right now, because of Lycan's ability to split push, and he can just basically run me out of a lane. We have wards in our jungle, and I want to be close to my team because of the fact that they have other split pushing elements, and I need, at this point, to help them. So because I need to fight and farm, I decide to go Vlad's instead of Yasha, even though typically I would go Yasha, and Aoi 2000 may yell at me for not going Yasha here, but I mean, I felt that was the play. So look, I'm in the jungle, but I also am going Vlad's because of it allows me to sustain. I don't have to run back to base. I can stay here and farm and split push and do, you know, things like this where I can, you know, kill the Lone Druid. Lycan, however, beats my face in. So gotta stay away from that guy. So I'm split pushing. I'm trying to take towers, and then look. I get caught here and should die, right? But I live. Now look why I live. The additional armor I got from the Vlads was so helpful. So helpful. I'm going to continue to go in the jungle and do my thing. Actually, wait. Let me show you this again. So, I get caught here. Uh-oh. Malphus. Uh-oh. Hex. Uh-oh. Ice Path. Uh-oh. Shackles. Now, one can debate that they didn't stack their disables very well. Yes, but look what I got. 5 bonus armor for all the additional attacks throughout all those disables. Really was instrumental in me surviving. And now look at my HP while I go jungle. Going up, going up, going up. Yasha with Vlad's right now is huge for me. Huge. So I'm continuing to go. Now, most players would have gone Yasha, and I couldn't have blamed them for doing that. But look at how I've been able to not only not go back to base and avoid going back to base, but go from jungle camp to jungle camp to jungle camp, from lane to lane to lane, from being able to get myself out of bad positions. Now, you think I'm going to die here? No. Let's talk about what I should go next. With this Yasha, with all these items, what should I go next? I should go Manta here, right? Manta will allow me to split push even better, and it will allow me to do all these sorts of things, like create illusions and be able to fight better by targeting better.
you know, I can get out of root, which if I would have had it, look, entangle, I would have been able to get out of it. I can get out of the entangle. I can get out of a lot of stuff that they have, actually. But I really should go Manta here, correct? Like, that's the play. Right? That's the play. Or what would you guys get? Should I go BKB to avoid all of the disables? Well, what I opted to do was a little bit unconventional, but look what it ended up getting me. I saw someone out of position and said, I'm going to go boot to travel. But why really did I go boot to travel? I went boot to travel for the main reason was, if you look at how I've been playing, they've been trying to follow me and kill me every time that they can. So if I force them to TP, I can actually TP to the opposite lane and be free for you know, at least, you know, around 45 seconds. You know, and even if they start moving, it's still going to take them about 30 seconds. And because I did that, I sped up my farm exponentially and was able to get the Manta almost immediately. Now look how the Manta is going to help me here. The Manta usage pops me out without having to use Blink. The reason why I didn't use Blink there is for obvious reasons. Don't blink away if you don't have to in anti-mage. If you can get a kill, get a kill. So I Manta'd so that when I split, you know how sometimes, depending on the terrain that you're in, it can either put you uphill or downhill or all that stuff. It does the same thing with the ward trap. It can actually pop you out of it. And because it popped me out of it, I was able to keep my blink so that if I wanted to get aggressive, I could steal a kill and then blink away. Whereas if I blinked away and came back in, I am at Lycan's mercy if he jumps on me. So that is the end of that game. We're going to move forward into this other game where I am Gyrocopter and started, you know, a little bit behind. You know, it was, you know, a lot of action, and, you know, it was an intense game. I went Lothars because they had, you know, with the ganks, there was a lot of Invoker play and Clockwork, and Hook just was really annoying, and I needed to be able to get away, and I wanted to force them to at least have to purchase Dust and Sentries in order to kill me if they're going to at least get a kill on me. Force opportunity cost out of the situation, and I needed to stay alive. I just needed to be safe. So what I ended up doing up here was continuing to farm, and now I went Yasha. Now I went Yasha for the additional movement speed so that I can get away, as well as the additional movement speed, the ability to flash farm, which we previously mentioned with the anti-mage skit. And I also needed some damage. So unfortunately, I'm not going to play the game as long as I would want to. So we're going to talk about this fight. And what I mean by that is my next item, I'm going to let you know now, was not a BKB. And I'm going to explain why. So if you see in this fight, they go on me, but they constantly disengage. There's a lot of melee. The only real damage I have to worry about are the Invoker and the Coddle. But they weren't really focusing me throughout this game. So I decided to skip BKB, which was a rather aggressive and unconventional thing to do, because Gyro normally can get one item and then he can get his BKB. I opted to not because of the game and the way that it was going, right? So they have a lot of melee and a lot of physical DPS. And because of that, I wanted more agility items so that I can continue to have free armor, additional armor, and I still needed to do damage because they weren't focusing me. So if they're not focusing me, and that's my reason for not using a BKB, then you have to get damage, right? And you have to just be able to do more damage with flat cannon from a distance, use my range, use the fact that they're not going on me that often to my advantage. Oh, sorry, excuse me. And because of that, so I'm going to fast forward a little bit where, look, I end up getting Manta. I got a casual Demon Edge. I say casual because I was debating here whether I should go an MKB or a Divine Rapier because of, look at the situation that we're in. But we end up holding here. Now, this is a game where the point of this video really is I want you guys to understand, just like I said in the supporting video, well, don't waste time. When you purchase items for the situation that you're in now. You can't build for the future, especially in a game like this when you're so behind. I missed a call down, unfortunately, here. we're struggling, right? Like the other carry I have on my team is really behind, and not doing well. So what I need to do here is pretty much go all in, right? Like, I mean, you got to go balls to the wall. You got to play to win the game. You got to try to win the game. So getting items for the future here wouldn't be the thing. It would be, you got to buy items to win now. Unfortunately, though, I'm going to tell you here now, I did not do that. And I didn't do that because of a few things, like a few intricate things, right? So I went MKB, and you're thinking, man, that's really good. You got the now. Yes, because we needed more damage. They were allowing me to do so. And since I had the ability to do so, I felt like, hey, my next item after this is going to be a Divine Rapier. We defended. We did very well. And this fight here, not really going to go the way that I had wanted it to. But I use Shadow Blade. I get out of it. We lose Roshan. So here is my indicator. Hey, I need to go Divine. Right? I ended up selling boots. Got my treads. Said, all right. It's all in. It's all or nothing, man. All or nothing. Now, why is it going to be all or nothing? Because straight up, when you're behind like this, you need to, you know, desperate times call for desperate measures, and I knew that. I knew that, right? I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. In my head, I made the decision. In my heart, I made the decision. What happens though is I'm an idiot, and what I mean by that is I went against all of my wisdom and all of my knowledge and all of me. I made a decision and I didn't go just because of this fight. So we did very well. Hey man, I have enough damage to actually kill these guys. We fucking got this shit. Wrong. Because what I did here is I built for the future. Even though we're winning these fights, but we're winning these fights in hindsight. I understand why. Because they are taking bad engagements. And they're taking engagements where they don't have vision, where they're getting kited. And instead, I said, we fucking got this shit. I do crazy damage. I'm good at this game, guys. So let me get a Helm of the Dominator so I can get my Satanic. And then, yo, we got this. Free cheese all day. Wrong. Now, why is this wrong? Because look at this fight. I did not do enough damage in this fight to even warrant a Helm of the Dominator. I wasn't doing any damage anyway. Why the hell do you go Helm of the Dominator if you're not stacking Ancients? And then, on top of the fact that you're not stacking Ancients, you still don't have enough damage to actually be able to lifesteal enough to warrant it. Instead, I should have won a Sacred Relic, got the additional damage, and then built a Divine Rapier.
And let's also not forget to mention that I purchased items here, you know, obviously Blothards and Mantle that I didn't use appropriately. And screwed up that fight in general. It was really bad. Okay, so ladies and germs, I want to thank you for obviously watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was by far the toughest video I think I've ever had to do because, as I've said to tons of people at this point, Dota's played from the neck up, and this was by far the most intuitive, you know, tutorial, right? The interactive tutorial for Dota 2 that we did. And I did part 2 that way because I felt like it's good to watch what's going on and then say, hey, you know, okay, I'm pretending to be this guy. What would I be doing? What would I be building? Look where I'm going. Like, look what's happening in the game. And I felt like that was a good transition. Instead of going through and breaking down item by item and when it's used and how it's used, I could be here fucking forever. So I thought that was the best way to go about it. The structure of this video was by far the toughest I think I've had to come up with, but I'm pretty happy with the results, and I hope that you guys learn a lot from this video in particular, and hope that you can use a lot of these things in the future. And to further emphasize this point, I'm gonna give you guys an example. This was pre-TI3, and this is a play that some of the closest people to me know, or a game that some people closest to me know, and the people that went into the international with me, Steve and Mikey. Mikey, you saw, he was in the Mania episode, and Steve, who's the producer, also works with us at Flipside. He was at the RIT event. He was one of the big ballers out there. They know about this story. So I'm playing as a TA, and I'm dominating, I'm squashing, progressing early. I mean, in the mid game, I have Blink and Chrysalis at like 20-something minutes. So we're dominating. We're not losing. Like, it's a wrap. until the sniper on the other team had at the time, I thought the audacity to build his hero this way, which was first item Ghost Scepter, then Blink Dagger, because of how dominant I was in the mid game and just what I kept doing to them. And they turtled and we couldn't break through the base, and we had complete map control and kept taking Roshan and we couldn't push up. I don't remember the exact composition of both sides, but I remember it was basically me versus him, and my team was dominating his team in terms of items, and we had mech and pipe, and we just still couldn't. They had a very good turtle team. They had heroes like Death Prophet, I remember, and they had Sniper. But long story short, so as he's progressing through these items, I said, okay, screw it. So I went in and, would blink on him, and he'll go Scepter and he'll run away. And then I'm like, fuck. And then I'm stuck in the middle, and then I'm fighting his other teammates. And then there's times where I blink on him and he blinks. And I have one of my players, I think it was a Tide. I had a Tide on my team, and I remember I'd stunning him, just gush him every time. So he would gush him, and then, Sniper would still run away, and then, I'll get somehow locked down or pinned down, and then he'll blink away, and then, come back and just start cleaning up kills, and it's super frustrating. So then I just said, fuck it, screw it. We'll just kill this team, and, we'll go at it. And I remember I literally tried everything I could think of, and it didn't work. And I went from making fun of this guy, thinking he's an idiot, and this is going to be the easy game of our lives, to we ended up losing the game. But why did we lose the game? It took me months and months and months and months to realize this on my own. And that was when I could relay the story to them going into TI2, like, hey, this happened, and how stupid I was. It took me, I think, like a month or two to figure out what the fuck I was doing wrong in this particular game. Because unfortunately, how I learned this game, I really learned it on my own. I had people that helped me initially, but the creative process of all the intuitive things that you had to learn in Dota, I pretty much had to learn on my own. And I realized long after, because to me 2 months is really long, especially if you're playing, 3-4 days out of the week. Purge it. Purge the Ghost Scepter off. And I remember I'd never forget that. Only because of how when I hit the epiphany and was like, hey, why don't you just purge that? I remember I told that to somebody else, and I was like, whoa, why didn't I do that in the TA game? And I said this inwardly, but I was just like, wow. And I had relayed the story to people about just that's how fucking hard Dota is. Like, you learn these lessons and you learn it the hard way every fucking time. And I'm sharing that story because that's when I realized, like, man, this game is really played from the neck up. And that's why I've always been saying that since, because it's the truth. Dota is it's a smart man's game. You can neutralize fundamental ability with a high IQ. So you can be playing against somebody that can stroke 50 million keys at once and have 300 GPM, 400 GPM, like, whoa. But if you're playing smarter than him and you read the game well and you're using your mind over his technical skill, you can neutralize a lot of his advantages. And that was one way of doing it, going against. And I remember we had a really physical lineup. I remember we had a Shadow Demon and a Tide, and the rest of us were really physical. I believe we had like an Axe and somebody at Gondar or some bullshit. Now that I think about it more. But yeah, just Blink, Force, or Ghost Scepter, Blink into a Yasha, Deso, and then a Manta. And they ended up winning the game just turtling. And I wasn't smart enough at the time to think, hey, let me just buy a Purge here and just purge it off. And I didn't do that. And because I didn't do that, we lost the game. And how this comes full circle is it was around this time last year that I did that. And I still feel super embarrassed about it and still super mad at myself for fucking losing that game, because I wasn't at the time intelligent enough to realize that I need to build. This is why I am such a big AUI 2000 fan of. He's AUI 2K has been my guy for a while. Like, when he came out with the mechanism, and I actually spoke to him about this one time. It was a few weeks ago on the Much Ado About Dota show. That I remember he was getting a lot of slack when he built mechanism on Viper, and he would build Broodmother with a Manta, and everyone was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, and you know, at this point now, that's commonplace. You know, these are items that almost everybody uses on those heroes because of, you know, everything from, like, even Brew, the speed on the additional speed on webs, and the ability to dodge incoming strikes, right? To delay a BKB a little bit further, to block these certain abilities with the Manta, and you know, that disjoint is really huge. And a lot of people don't realize that about Manta. You could delay BKB a little bit further, right? Depending if they're single target and all that other good stuff. The damage that it gives you, it's just the stats. I mean, it's an amazing item, and it's funny because, you know, this was even before that time. So this is almost going a year and a half back where all these things started to come into fruition. And you know, we really don't appreciate those players that really think outside of the box, and that is obviously they'll go to Flipside Tactics and Dota 101 and myself. I'm very unconventional. I'm not really stuck on what people classify as the meta or anything. To me, I'm a results-based guy. So if it works, it just works. I don't care who's doing it, why they're doing it, when they're doing it, how they're doing it. As long as it works, if it's going to get the job done, go for it. And that's why people like that I really am impressed with, because they just think differently, and you have to think differently, right? Like, even in terms of what's going on with the Steam Workshop and the business and the amount of revenue that's being created for Valve, you know, Gabe Newell had the wherewithal to say, hey, let me hire an economist. I don't really understand these things, because you adapt or die. And that happened to me in that game. I didn't adapt well, and I died. I didn't adapt well in the gyro game you saw. Made a stupid decision that really cost us the game, because at that point I can still manage to win the game. But because of a mistake, I cost myself the game. Regardless of, you know, the fact that this is a team game, ultimately you have to do your job. And I did not do my job. Even in the Necro game, I got way too overconfident, ended up building a Bloodstone, which was completely unnecessary, because I could have avoided it. As a matter of fact, could have gotten an item earlier that would have been more beneficial throughout the entire stage of the game, and would have been more beneficial going into the late game. And it may have been the reason why we won. It may have still been a non-factor and we would have lost. I don't know. But the point is, making these bad decisions and bad choices, sometimes by lack of IQ and other times by just ego or just a misinterpretation of what's going on, can definitely really hurt you as a player. And I think that this video really demonstrates that the decisions that you make ultimately are your own. And you have to use the amount of information you have available to you to actually make an accurate prediction as to what item is going to help you in the future. And I really hope that more people watch this, so that you don't have people, you know, especially when you know, even in public games, make these consistent mistakes with these item choices that end up costing other people games. Because I don't think really the community understands that, hey, this is a 5-man team game. So if you're not doing your job, you're costing 4 other people the opportunity to win the game. And I don't think that is spoken about much. That seems to be very taboo, because we're human beings. We're selfish in nature. And I think too many people think it's okay to just say, hey, look, I don't just want to play this game for fun, or just want to be casual with this shit. But they don't realize that maybe other people don't feel the same way that you do. So play bots. Or study. Get better. Improve. On the next episode, we will be finally doing Cyborg Matt's fan sweepstakes thing. Unfortunately, because of the RIT LAN and, you know, all these teams are trying to get ready for just a whole bunch of tournaments. You know, it was the Raid Call Cup, the D2L, and now it's this TI3 invitational thing. So Eternal Envy will be doing it instead of Waga. I'm not going to get into the specifics as to why. Unfortunately, you know, just some people just aren't accountable for commitments that they make or things that they do. So again, you have to adjust or die, and you have to adapt and die. And, you know, we got, thankfully, Eternal Envy to replace, and he will be doing that. The guy's name is Adam. Once again, thanks Cyborg Matt and everybody else involved. I hope you guys continue to support us, the Flipside Tactics. We are really trying to promote NA Dota the best way that we can. We will try to continue to do events, but we're going to need your support. So this is the first time you're really going to hear me say this on this episode, but the truth is we need it. We need you to subscribe to our YouTube and support us in any way that you can. FlipsideTactics.com is the website. Look for a lot more to come from us, and I want to thank all of you once again for watching this episode. Take care.